Hey guys, Nathyn Brendan Masters coming at you with r/glitch in the matrix. You're going to notice some things a little bit differently here. I've changed the way I'm doing the text, and it's just going to allow me to upload quicker and get more content out. And I will be combining these videos for those of you who like to listen to this kind of stuff while you're sleeping. So I'll put these videos together, and you can listen while you sleep. Maybe I'll make like a 1 hour, 2 hour compilation, something like that. So before we jump into it, I write and draw an urban fantasy action horror comic called Hexcraft Mechanics. We're doing issue 2, and I'm going to start crowdfunding it on Indiegogo next week. If you want to see a preview of this, click the link in the description and you'll see what we have to offer. It's just a preview link, and of course next week we will be giving you the live link. So this is just to kind of whet your appetite for it. We might change a few things, but for now this is pretty much what it is. So let's jump into it. r/glitch in the matrix. Our first story. My former coworker interacted with me in town, but it wasn't me. And just a quick aside, these are new stories, so you can actually go over to Reddit and interact with these stories. Links are in the description. This was a few years ago. I was working at a rural hospital in an odd clerical security incident, command maintenance type of position. We'll just say I wore a lot of hats. Anyways, the department was my 4 male co-workers, and I was the only female in the department. We were all pretty comfortable with each other, and all of us worked together pretty good. It wasn't uncommon that the guys would sometimes have to take a hospital vehicle out to one of our off-site storage facilities to get supplies for people. I'd usually hang back in the office, and I would be corresponding with them on the radio until they got about 5 miles away, which is where our little setup lost connection. One day, 3 of them went off-site to one of the storage facilities, leaving just me and my boss in our department. They came back an hour or so later, and when they saw me sitting at my desk in our department, they had a mild freakout. The first thing they said when they got back was to ask me how I got back before them. Both my boss and I kind of looked at each other with confusion. He answered that I had been sitting at my desk the whole time. The other 3 argued the fact, saying that wasn't possible. All 3 of them claimed that on their way back to the hospital, they saw me standing on the side of the road waiting to cross it. They claimed that they pulled over beside me, rolled down the windows to surprise me and say hi, something they normally did when seeing me out in the wild. They like to startle me, LOL. And asked where I was going for my lunch break that they thought I was on. They said that I turned and looked at them and that I didn't say anything or respond and just sort of stared at them for a minute, then walked off alone somewhere. Mine and my boss's first reaction was to suggest that it was someone who looked like me, but they claimed it had to be me. According to them, there was no way it could have been anybody except me. It was a rural town, and I have certain features about me from a mixture of my heritage and even just the way I present myself that weren't coming there. They claimed the person they saw was me down to my hairstyle. I often wear low-set pigtails. My outfit, the hospital lanyard badge hanging around my neck, and even my bag, which had a bunch of tutorial patches stuck on it, though they called it the fat gray hamster character. My boss told them the same thing I did, that I hadn't moved from my seat the entire time they were gone. None of them knew what to think. I honestly would have passed it off as a prank on their part, except that one of them, who was the most creeped out, was a very no-nonsense, straightforward older man who never played along with our prank wars. He even came by himself after the fact to make sure that I wasn't pulling their leg about it. It wasn't something that I personally saw myself, but based on knowing them and their reactions to things, especially the older male, I'm inclined to believe they saw what they say they saw. What it really was, glitch or no, I have no clue. I've taken it with a grain of salt, but I thought it would be interesting to share. Now guys, doppelganger stories, I find them fascinating and horrifying at the same time. And a lot of them are the same, where People will talk to the doppelganger, and the doppelganger just does absolutely nothing. Like, they won't respond, and then they'll go walk off somewhere or something like that, and you'll never see that doppelganger again. But the person, you come back, talk to the person, they know nothing about it. You know, we had that story the last time when, the woman on the bus, she saw her friend on the bus, and her friend is like, hey, I saw you, when I got on the bus, and you didn't say anything to me. But the other friend had seen her miss the bus. So, these stories. Let's jump into the next one. This one's short and sweet. It's called The Disappearing Friend. Disappearing Friend. Did we jump into another dimension or an alternate timeline? One night, my friends E, C, W, and K were at the gas station. K got out of the car and went inside to go buy stuff. About 7 minutes later, E and I are sitting in the front seat and see K walk out and come right up to the car, but as soon as he's about to open the door, he disappears into thin air. We had a clear view of the store entrance and everything else around us. I didn't think that E saw the same thing I did until E turned to me very confused, asking, did K just come out of the store or am I crazy? And I said, you're not crazy. I saw him come out too. My other two friends, W and C, said they weren't even paying attention. About 5 minutes later, K comes out of the store. I asked if he had came out of the store since he first went in, and he said no, and that he was in there the entire time. Usually when this sort of thing happens, I'm the only one who sees it. But this time my friend confirmed what I saw too, and I've been questioning reality ever since. See, guys, this is another form of doppelganger story. It's like I say, this is a big glitch. This is the big matrix type glitch that you'll see in a lot of these stories. So let me know what you think in the comment section. And have you ever experienced a glitch like this yourself, where someone told you were in one place and they interacted with you, and instead you know for a fact you weren't in that place? Now, this next story is going to be something that I think a lot of people have experienced, and that is time loss. This story is called We Lost 2 Hours of Our Day and Can't Account for It. Mark, my husband, and I decided to make a quick trip to Walmart for a few things while my daughter kept an eye on my son at home. We leave the house at 4:30 p.m., make it to Walmart, which is 10 minutes away, and spend no more than 20 minutes grabbing a few things and waiting in line. We check out, then head back to the car. On our way back home, we thought to stop at McDonald's, 2 minutes from Walmart, to grab a bite for the family. I was pregnant and McDonald's was my craving. We live close to a military base, so 5-6 p.m. traffic can get backed up in the area. To our surprise, the roads weren't busy and it was fairly quiet. At this point, we're confused and concerned. Now we're wondering if something happened where people needed to seek shelter. We live in a town where tornadoes happen often. So I looked to the sky for clues and noticed the sun is close to setting, but nothing hinting bad weather. I tell Mark to look how dark it has gotten, and he goes, "Oh shit, the lights are on. What the heck?" I look over and could tell he was thinking really hard. We have now pulled into McDonald's drive-thru where there's a line. Still baffled, I pick up my phone to call my daughter and notice the time is a little after 7 p.m. I pause before making the call, look up at the clock in the car, which is very dim by the way, to confirm the time. I kept repeating something was up. I call my daughter and ask her how long it's been since we left, and she says a few hours. I don't make a big deal of it as I don't want to freak her out. I rushed my husband to place our order so we can get home to the kids ASAP. I am now shuffling through my purse for our receipt at Walmart for the timestamp, and as expected, it says we checked out at 5:08 p.m. Mark has been quiet since he noticed the car lights were on. We pulled up to the house at 7:35 p.m. It's near dark, and I sit in the car with my door open as my husband unloads the car and heads to the kids. I can see our front door from the driveway, relieved my kids are okay, but afraid to make a scene because I was still freaking out. Mentally piecing together a timeline for the past 2 to 3 hours, desperate to make sense of what happened. My husband returns, and we're both now sitting in silence. He looks at me and says, "I don't know, babe. I'm just glad we're home." This was 2 years ago. We talk about it every now and then, as we did tonight. I'm usually the one to bring it up. I just couldn't go to bed, so I started Googling away and it brought me here. A post made in 2019, a year after my experience. The OP experienced a similar situation, but most people suggested she may have had a seizure. I can definitely rule out a seizure in my situation. That's all I know. Honestly, I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but I'm still looking. Gotta admit, guys, I really do enjoy those stories where multiple people witness the event or experience, because it tends to rule out some of the more common reasons why these things happen. Really gets you kind of thinking about the possibilities, if you will. So that's it for this. I'll see you guys later. I'm thinking maybe Reddit Paranormal later on, and possibly some entitled people. I know everybody likes the entitled people thread, and maybe even Am I the A-hole? So I'll see what we can see if I can find some good stuff and hit you guys back with it later on. All right, guys, take it easy. Nathyn Brendan Masters. Hasta.
Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn.